1 Hour Photo is a film that studies fascination, obsession, and that underlying question of what makes you a good person. Or rather, what is considered acceptable by society's standards. Now, if you find yourself disagreeing with that understated summary, just keep in mind that this video is one interpretation and a personal analysis. If you disagree with anything I say, feel free to let me know in the comments. Meet Cy, played by the late great Robin Williams. Cy is, well, a photo guy. For many years, Cy has developed the pictures of the Yorkin family, the neglectful father and husband, Will, the beautiful, neglected, loving wife and mother, Nina, and the perceptive child of the Yorkins, Jake. Cy, nothing but a casual acquaintance to Nina and Jake, has become obsessed with the Yorkins, and the film is dedicated to his descent into fantasy and how his own traumatic events in the past shape his love for photography and his wrath at those who take what they have for granted. So through an admittedly contrived incident in which a woman drops off photos to be developed, Cy finds out that Will is having an affair. I think it's important to note that before learning of Will's infidelity, Cy Parrish... Parrish? Wasn't that Williams' character in Jumanji? Alan Parrish, was it? Anyway, before finding out about the affair, Cy doesn't want to replace Will. He's not in love with Nina. He doesn't think he can be a better father to Jake. He just idolizes their perfect life together, and even admits that his depiction of their life is not real.
Someone looking through our photo album would conclude that we had led a joyous, leisurely existence, free of tragedy. No one ever takes a photograph of something they want to forget.
We find out later that what's shown in pictures means a great deal to him, but I'll get to that. So when Cy fantasizes about being a part of the Yorkins' life, he sees himself as a welcome addition rather than a replacement.
Uncle Cy!
An uncle. He's lonely, a fact that only Jake seems to pick up on.
Who is that and doesn't have any friends? Cy. Cy? The photo guy at the 1 Hour place?
Speaking of Jake, one of the fabricated ways in which Cy tries to form connections is through buying Jake an Evangelion toy. Note the description of the toy.
What does he do?
Well, he's a good guy, he can fly, and he has a silver sword that can kill bad guys.
Really?
Yeah.
A good guy with a silver sword who takes out bad guys. Much like Cy will, in a way, later on with his silver knife. The same knife he seems to use to cut out Will Yorkin's face from every picture, which he does just after we see the toy in his house, after of course Jake rejects it. He tries another fabricated connection through Nina by noting a book she's reading, following her and then pretending he just happened to be reading the same book. He's unable to form actual connections. So after losing his job, because he was making extra copies of the Yorkins for personal use, let's say, and finding out about the affair, Cy changes. He no longer attempts to bond with the family and instead decides that Will should pay for abusing the life and people that he so desperately wants. He first sneaks the photos of the affair into Nina, or rather Jake's, photo folder, but reacts angrily when Nina suppresses it for the family's sake. And Cy wants to see this breakdown firsthand. He's a horse raring to go but stuck in place and frustrated. So after this failure, Cy finally puts his plan into motion. He indirectly threatens his boss and their child so that the police can search his home and pursue him. He wants to get caught. He threatens Will and his mistress Maya and demands they have sex, but just pretend to. He then takes pictures, but we later find out not of the sex act, but innocuous objects, something he mentioned nobody did earlier in the film. We then find out that Cy was abused as a child and pictures were most likely taken.
You would never ask your children to do things that children shouldn't do. You would never take disgusting, sick, degrading pictures of your children doing these things.
Hence why he latches on to positive photos depicting a life he never had. A life Will took for granted. You could argue Will saw the error of his ways and Cy ultimately helped the family. So once again I ask, is Will Yorkin a bad person for dismantling his family? Is Cy a good person despite his acts? What makes a good person? Oh, and that crazy nightmare Cy has in the film? Well, fuck knows what that's about.